So yesterday, I get a phone call from somebody on my staff, and they said, Glenn, you remember Karlyn Borysenko? And I said, yeah, isn't she the woman from, like, New Hampshire? She's the Zen psychologist? Yeah. Right. She was the one who went to she was a lefty, and she went to a Trump rally because she didn't like being told, what to do, and she wanted to conquer her fear and everything else. And she found out that, wow, Trump people are really nice. It's not like what everybody is saying that they are. She's got a really, really great open mind. When I talked to her on the air, I said, I think you're actually joining our side. I think you're come to the dark side. And we laughed about it. And so I thought, why is she calling? She was calling because of what I said yesterday, apparently on the air about the Michigan rally. And I was warning people, please know that we are an image-driven society. Please, if you're carrying something, that's why at my things I've always said, please, no signs, because the media will just latch on to one image and then it's over. You have to be careful. Don't drive, up to these things with a firearm. You have the right to do it. Yes, you do. But the media will latch on to those things and it will hurt you in the long run. So just be careful. So when I got that call, I thought, okay, Karlyn, she didn't come to the dark side. She's back to her dark side. No, not so much. She actually wanted to correct me and make sure that I knew that these were really good people at these protests. Karlyn, welcome to the program.
Hi, Glenn. Thank you. And it's Karlyn, like George Carlin.
Oh, Karlyn. I'm sorry, Karlyn.
That's all good.
So do I have the story right?
Yeah, essentially. So I ended up speaking to the organizers of the Michigan protest the other day on my YouTube channel just because I was fascinated with the whole thing. And we had a great conversation. And then just comparing what they said to what was in the media, there are some discrepancies.
I love you. I absolutely love you. I really do. I think you're amazing. Okay. So what are the discrepancies? I know of one, he's kind of balding and he's got a big beard, and he was photographed and it looks like he's yelling at the police, but actually he's not yelling at the police.
No,
is that right?
He is not yelling at the police at all. He's yelling past the police because they're yelling into the room where the vote was taking place. And the entire goal of this rally was to make sure the legislature in Michigan voted not to extend the governor's executive's order. That was the whole goal. And so they were yelling at them as they were taking the vote to vote no.
And that's not the way it was spun. Okay,
no,
so you say that there are the things that maybe I or other conservatives are doing that we have wrong. So talk to the conservatives and me that may have it wrong. Go ahead.
The biggest thing is that the entire rally was coordinated with law enforcement from the very beginning. So there's this perception that the police were put in danger, law enforcement was put in danger. That's absolutely untrue. The organizers of the rally coordinated with law enforcement literally every step of the way, leading up to the rally, the day before the rally, during the rally. They coordinated with law enforcement to make sure there was a specific path kept open for the hospital in case people needed to get there. Permits were issued. When they went into the Capitol building, their temperatures were taken. It was all very orderly. The militia folks that were there, the ones with the big guns, which I agree is not the best photo in the world, but there are other photos that show that the police were actually like hanging out with the militia guys and smiling. So there wasn't an adversarial relationship. Right. Everyone was working together.
So So Karlyn, I want you to know that I don't believe there is an adversarial relationship with the police. I know these kinds of people. I've been doing this for a long time. I know these kinds of people. What I learned from Martin Luther King, that love is always the answer. That's great. These people are loving people for the most part. I mean, there's creeps in every crowd, but these are families. These are regular Americans that believe in good things and yada, yada, yada. But what I'm always concerned about is the other thing I learned from Martin Luther King. It is an image that will destroy you. It is one photograph that will destroy you. It's the dogs barking with really peaceful black people walking down the street that turned America's head because there was no way to position that. So I'm just concerned about the images. King was very disciplined. And it's hard with libertarians to say, okay, guys, we got to organize and have a set of rules. It's like herding cats. Can't be done. But we have to have discipline to make sure, because we know how dishonest the press is. We know how images will be used against us because it's been done before.
And I agree with everything that you just said, but I guess I'm going to push back a little and say, at what point does the media have some responsibility, and I'm talking to the conservative media now, to make sure they are telling the full and accurate story of what happened, to push back against some of these misconceptions? Because I'm just a random person on the internet, and I was able to tell this. And so you guys have some responsibility as well.
I agree. Karlyn, I absolutely agree with you. And if I have let the audience down on that, I apologize, and we will double our effort on it. But I will tell you that listening to you talk, you will not be able to relate to this. I have waited for you. I was just listening to you give that first point, and I thought to myself, with a smile on my face, and I thought, I have waited for someone like her for 15 years. I have waited I really have, Karlyn, I really have. And so has this audience. You are somebody who is, you're not in lockstep with everything that I say or whatever. You've come from the left and you just want the truth. We're not talking politics. You just want the truth. Your voice, until they discredit you, your voice brings a hope and an awful lot of credibility, because this is not your horse. And so some of us have been beaten down by the press for so long and destroyed. We want to make sure we're uber careful, because we're on the front line of you will be soon, but we're on the front line of being attacked. And we've learned our lesson in the past. That doesn't mean we've given up the fight by any chance or any stretch of the imagination. We're just more cautious on things because we know how fast one mistake will just absolutely destroy you.
Oh,
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, and it's certainly a conversation I've had with so many conservatives over the past several months, and it's something that I hear. And listen, I'm fully willing to step up and be a truth teller in this scenario, but I simply hope that I'm not the only one that's telling the story of these regular Joes that organized this rally because they wanted to do the right thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely not. We have reached out to many of the organizers in different states. I've got 4 people on today that are going to tell their story about what's going on. So you're not alone. Make sure you know that. And if you ever feel alone, you call me. My staff will give you, I don't have a phone, so they'll give you a way to contact me personally. They'll give you my private email address so you can contact me directly, because you're not alone. You give me a lot of hope. All right. So the next thing that you think needs to be corrected.
Well, and the law enforcement was a big one. Oh, another thing that I haven't heard talk about is that there were literally 0 warnings from law enforcement issued at this entire rally. There was only one arrest that was made. And okay, Glenn, do you want to guess what the one arrest was at this rally? Want to guess who it was?
No, go ahead. Anafa?
It was a Democrat.
It was a Democrat.
Who was protesting.
And what were they arrested for? What were they arrested for?
They were kicking people at the rally.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Was that even reported anywhere?
I don't believe it was, but it's on my YouTube channel, the interview that I did with them. And another thing is the elected representatives, as they were taking the vote, they were actually in communication with the people at the rally. They were like texting back and forth because a guy at the rally knew the Senate Majority Leader. And so the people inside, I mean, I've seen these tweets come out basically saying, oh, we were so scared of these people. They knew what was going on. They were coordinating and talking back and forth the whole time. And so I have a really hard time believing that anyone was actually scared.
Karlyn, I love you. I do. I just can't thank you enough for just being interested in the truth and being brave enough to take on your own circle. I mean, nobody wants to be a pariah. Nobody wants to have to recheck everything that they thought they believed in. It's a scary thing, but everyone should do that on both sides. And you're just a great example. Just a great example for so many people. Thank you, thank you, thank you.